Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a theory slash prediction. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what to call it because I want to call it theory because it has things to back it up like all theories do, but at the same time there's a lot of leaps of faith that you have to take, so I want to call it prediction, but I still want to call it theory. I don't know, so we'll just call it a theory slash prediction, or just think of it as a mixture of the two. But actually, now thinking about it, haven't all theories always been predictions? But I mean, anyways, I'm getting a little off track here. Just whatever. But of course, this is all going to be focusing on Black Ops 4 zombies inside the Ether storyline, namely Blood of the Dead. And this is going to be exploring exactly what may be happening inside the map when we are actually playing in it, and of course, the results of whatever we're going to do in the Easter egg, and even in the future past that. Of course, with all this said now, let's actually jump into all of this. So, what I do think is that Mob of the Dead and Blood of the Dead are going to be very similar, and not only because they both take place in Alcatraz. One other thing that I think we'll see another similarity in is the ending of this Easter egg. But as you all know, in the ending for the Mob of the Dead Easter egg, you have Sal, Finn, and Billy turn on the Weasel and attempt to kill him, and you could have one of two outcomes during this Easter egg. You could have the other three mobsters kill the Weasel and the cycle will continue, or you can have Weasel kill the other three mobsters and the cycle will be broken. And I think we're going to be seeing something very similar to this inside Blood of the Dead, except this time around it's going to be a little different. Instead of the lone person winning will break the cycle, what we're going to need to happen is that the other three people are going to have to kill the lone person. But of course, who could this lone person be? I think it's pretty obvious, but it has to be Richtofen. I do think that we are actually going to kill Richtofen inside Blood of the Dead. Now, it doesn't have to be like we have to shoot at him or something like that. We can just indirectly kill him or something like that, but I do think that Richtofen will die inside Blood of the Dead. But of course, not permanently, because obviously you have time travel and all that weird stuff going on, so there's a lot of different opportunities for him to come back and just appear in a bunch of different other maps and things like that. But I do think that he will die inside Blood of the Dead, and it's not only just because I think that and that it would be similar to Mob of the Dead, but there's also a lot of other reasons to think that this is going to happen. One of those being what we saw inside the intro cutscene, where he rereads the Chronorium and he says,
"What is the meaning of this? The pages have changed. They, our blood, mine blood. You cannot possibly expect me to let this happen."
This could be interpreted like he would say that when he says our blood, he's talking about his own blood, and of course the other Richtofen that he's talking to, he'd say our blood, and then he says my blood, and of course after that he says, you can't possibly expect me to let this happen, and it seems like something that he just doesn't want to happen, so this can suggest this. Of course, that's again a big stretch, but there's also another major reason why we would think that Richtofen would die inside Blood of the Dead, and it's because of something we've had for over 3 years, well, I guess almost over 3 years now, and those are the radios in the Giants, and one radio in particular is actually a radio from Nikolai.
It is not all bad news, Nikolai. We may have failed in our mission, but at least there is now one less Richtofen to deal with. If it is any consolation, tell him that the first one is the hardest. I should know. I've killed at least 3 Richtofens. There was the one in the fire, the one with the boat hook, and the one... What? No one told me? Sorry. Forget what I just said. Everything will be fine.
And this could be the start of all that. They could actually start to kill the Richtofens right here inside Blood of the Dead, and finally maybe explain what exactly is going on inside the Giants radios, which we're not done with in the slightest. We will come back to these Giants radios. But of course, continuing my prediction is that after the other 3 characters in premise, that being Takeo, Dempsey, and Nikolai, kill Richtofen, they will take off in the Mob of the Dead plane, or Icarus. And on this flight, they may stop in different places, but they will fly over Shadows of Evil, Zetsubonoshima, and end up landing in the Giant. And this would explain why the Mob of the Dead plane is seen over the two other maps, that being Shadows of Evil and Zetsubonoshima, and also explain why the plane is inside the Giant. And this is a perfect opportunity for so many different reasons, because if the other three characters in Primus go to the Giant again on the Mob of the Dead plane, it will explain why we have future versions of our characters leaving radio messages for their past selves. And this is what we heard inside the Giant. We heard radios from future Takeo, future Nikolai, and future Dempsey, all warning them about different things. And this would explain why they know about these different things, and may explain exactly why this is the case and how these radios even got here, and would further the idea that Richtofen is going to be killed inside Blood of the Dead, because as you just noticed, the people I mentioned just now of the characters that are actually going to be leaving messages for their past self left out somebody in particular, and that's none other than Richtofen. And I always found it quite strange, because why in the Giant radios are there radio recordings left from their future selves for their past selves for every single character except Richtofen? And this could finally explain it, that just Richtofen has been killed, and this would just kind of explain why that's the case, and it just would work out perfectly, at least in the case of these radios. Of course, this isn't going to explain all the radios, because we have a lot of other crazy radios in the Giants, but it will at least explain how these radios got there and exactly what Nikolai is talking about in the first place. Now, of course, this doesn't end here, because I do think that something else is going to happen, and I would like to add more to this part of the theory, but this is kind of the weakest part. But I would like to add more, but we don't know enough about classifieds for me to really give any more information that I would like to do. Well, I guess the amount of information I would like to share, I can't do that here, because we again know nothing about classified at this point, which kind of makes sense, especially with its name. I mean, it's called classified, so it's kind of interesting that we don't know really anything about it. But regardless, I do think that the rest of Primus, of course leaving out Richtofen, are going to somehow end up inside somewhere near Russia. I'm not exactly sure where, but from there they are going to meet up with Ultimus Richtofen. Now, I'm not sure why only Ultimus Richtofen is going to be there, but they're going to meet up with him and they're going to go on their own mission, doing their own thing. And this wouldn't be the first time that these characters have met Ultimus Richtofen. If you remember back to the Giants intro cutscene, they met Ultimus Richtofen there, but of course Primus Richtofen went and killed him and all that stuff, so it wouldn't be a first. But there's also another reason why I think this is going to be the case, and it's because of a loading screen that we got inside the comic books about a few years ago. Is it a year? I don't know. It's been a while though, and we got this loading screen, and I'll have it on screen right now for you guys. And as you guys can see, it's a remade die-rise loading screen, and on the top left of this screen you can actually see that Primus, Takeo, Dempsey, and Nikolai are there with none other than Ultimus Richtofen. And if you look to the page after that, the page on the right, you could actually see where they are teleporting from. They are teleporting from somewhere near Russia, and they're going from there to England, which none other than the house exists. Now, for what they're going to be doing at the house, I have no idea, but this is about where this crazy prediction theory thing comes to an end. But I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Just keep in mind that this is just a bunch of crazy nonsense that could be coming out of my mouth, or it could be something that is half true. We're just not sure. It's just something I really wanted to share with you guys because it's been on my mind for a while. Anyways, again, would love to hear what you guys think about this. But if you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. But I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream or video.